Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. We are officially here in season 5. It's great to be back. Okay, a couple things before we get started. One, please share this podcast. You never know whose life you're going to save by just sharing the podcast. Two, please leave a review of the podcast on Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening to your podcast from. Please leave a review. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps the podcast, get more noticed and all that good stuff. And third thing, so in the episode description below, we will have the video podcast link. So if you're wanting to watch the video interaction, please click in the episode description below and you will find the YouTube link. And with that being said, let us get started with whatever episode this is going to be, because I don't know what the episode is going to be right now, because this is a pre-recorded intro. Yes. Alrighty, with that being said, welcome to season 5 of Vulnerability Time. Okay, folks, we love a pre-recorded intro. Look at our special guest, Ash. First off,
I
Ash, I know I told you before this, but I was like, I'm gonna wait until we record to re-compliment you. Don't mind my camera. Sometimes it freezes and it lags. I don't know what I did to mess it up, but I did something.
no
Um,
worries.
your hair looks super cute, and that
Thank you.
tattoo. You're a vibe right now. You're a vibe.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay. Ash, I have been dying to get you on the podcast for seasons and ever since season 1, and you're
Yeah,
finally here. I knew it was
I
going to
made
happen
it. I
eventually.
made it.
Yes, it was going to happen when it needed to happen. This is the
Yeah,
perfect season.
for
Yes, it
sure.
all worked out. Um so tell us a little bit about you. W- you're staying in Tennessee right
Washington
now.
State.
Okay,
Washington State.
oh, you're at Washington State University.
No, like the Washington State. I have to say that because people think I'm in like Washington D.C. and just like no, I would stay away from there.
That is true. If I hear Washington, I'm thinking Washington D.C. So Washington
Yeah.
State. Oh my God, how are you liking it there? Because you're from Texas.
Yes. So originally from Houston, Texas. Born and raised there, but had a little situation. Well, really, I did like a road trip with one of my friends that was going to school here, um, and just kind of fell in love with the PNW. And I really needed a change at the time. I was going through like a really bad breakup, and it was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I did the trip. 6 months later, I moved here. Now I've been here for like 2 years now. I love it. It's a great place for, I would say, well, at least the small town that I'm in. I'm not gonna disclose exactly where, but
Right.
it's a great place for like rehabilitation, which is exactly what I needed at the time, and it's been great. Nature is very healing.
It is. It is
Hmm.
very healing. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you mean rehab? Like just because there's multiple forms of rehab. Do you just mean
Right.
rehab as a whole?
As a whole, pretty much, mostly like mental health.
Yeah.
Just really needed to get away and fresh start, and just like I
Yeah.
said, nature really makes a big difference. I don't know, like time slows down over here. It's like it really gives you the opportunity to slow live, which is very important.
Yes. Yes. I love that because yeah, I'm a huge fan of forms of just like different forms of rehab. Like you said, in a sense, kind of like mental health rehab, and that can look different for, everybody.
Yeah,
But yeah, I love that. And yes, nature is, oh, trust me, nature is very healing. Um, yes, it's
absolutely.
very healing. We love that. Oh my God. Um, folks, Well, it's phenomenal to meet Ash. Ash, you go by they, them. You use they, them pronouns,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
We love it. We love it. Okay, so the topics that we're going to get into today are the topics we're going to get into today is the topic of being seen but not known. Yes, yes. And the other one, if we have time, the other ones we want to get into poly. We also want to get into never fault the victim for the offender's actions. Um, oh, I'm excited. I, I really want to start with being seen but not known. I really want to talk about that. Ash, what I sent the topics list, what stood out about that made you, what from your journey made you connect, resonate, and pick this topic of being seen but not known?
Well, it's such a like kind of like a weird topic to talk about in a way because it's kind of leans into like pretty privilege in a way because it's like
Talk about it. Yeah,
it
vulnerability time.
just it seems like a lot of the people like just kind of see the physical and never really think about like what's going on and like ask questions or seem to like really care for the most part. And
Right.
um that was like early on me noticing that stuff, but now I'm kind of like connecting it almost to like autism because I'm just like so a lot of the times I feel like I need to be asked questions in order for me to like you don't speak till you're spoken to type thing. Can
Yeah.
be one trauma, but two also just like logically like I don't think you want to know the thing unless you ask the thing. So
Right.
I go around like a lot of like my friends and stuff like that, and most of them like don't really know a lot about me just because I don't just blurt out stuff. I just
Right.
I just wait to be asked, really. So,
Right. Right. Boom. See, okay. I wasn't even thinking about it in that aspect, but when you said like when you kind of tied it to pretty privilege and just it's easy for society to just see the outside. You
mhm,
know what I mean? Okay, have you ever felt
like a plastic bag. I'm
like a
sorry,
what?
like a plastic bag. Hold
Oh,
on. I'm sorry.
that's right. That's
Let
funny. That's
me. It's gonna like do a thing. Let me put it on do not disturb just so nobody blows me up.
we love it.
Okay,
We
beautiful.
love it. While we take a quick intermission. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
that was it.
I was gonna be childish and say if you have a structured settlement and you need cash now, folks, call JG Wentworth.
It would have been perfect.
Yes, we love a commercial break. We
Ding. I
love
forgot the
it.
jingle.
You have structured settlement. See, that song is still stuck in my head. Have I ever called them no? Will I ever call them no? Because we
No.
were kids. But it was a great time watching
It
that
was.
commercial.
Yeah.
Yes, but have you ever you said plastic bag on it, right? It'd be like that. Okay, have you ever felt like this kind of ties into when I think about being wanted but not desired. Um, but I'm being seen but not known. I feel like, and have you ever felt this way? People, I'm gonna just speak on for this, just me right now, my theme right now. You can change it up, but um, to help me convey what I'm trying to say. Have you ever felt like when it comes to like romantic um relationships that because I felt this way where it's like the guy just likes what he sees, but it's like he doesn't really know me nor wants to get to know me. Um, And I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling. Like it for me, it used to be flattering at first, and then
Hmm.
when it just kept happening, I'm just like, am I nothing more than just something to see? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. Like
Mm.
it's cool. Yeah, I know I can pull or whatever, but it's like what I don't really want exactly, period. But I don't at the same time you don't want to pull like superficial people, like people that just
Yes.
see that. And you want people that see you fully, and that's where true connection comes in.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And for I was literally having a conversation with my higher self and my higher powers, my spirit guides, whatever,
Hmm.
um, yesterday, and I was talking about how, and let me know what you think about this. But I was talking about how, because there was this guy at the coffee shop yesterday, and
Hmm.
not only was like I physically attracted to him, but his aura and his energy. And that stuff's real. His energy, his vibrations, it just
Hmm.
it it really just that was something different, you know? It was something more than just looks. Cause now after all of that hurt and stuff that I've been through, you know, now I'm just like, looks for me, how about this? For me, looks aren't enough anymore. I don't
Yes.
think I can take another superficial hit. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but when he walked past me and he also sat close to me, I mean, just the energy just shift. Like it jived with my energies, you know,
Hmm.
and I got I got black home. I'm, I'm childish. I went white black home, and I was like that small interaction. Even though we didn't even speak, I was definitely staring at him sometimes because I was like, oh my god, like I'm loving his energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god. But yes, I was like, this has awakened my eyes to help me better find or see who or whom my men are, romantically.
Hmm.
Because I'm just like, that's a good way for me to weed the one or the ones that I want out is
Absolutely.
to like there could be 100 people that have great looks, and there are, you know what I mean? But it's
Hmm.
just like they can all be superficial. They can all look horrible on the inside, you
Yeah,
know?
that's
Yeah, and
immediately a turn off.
exactly. And then they
Yeah.
could be just great guys, just not for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm just like the best way to weave them out to like how people do in the interview process of jobs, round one, round two. Best way to
Hmm.
weed them out to find the one that's best for me to also that energy has to be there. Like the physical attraction, that is so easy to be
Yeah.
there. We do it all the time, just in general, like, ooh, that purse looks good, I'm totally gonna get it, or ooh, that food looks good, I'm totally gonna get it. Like we do
Hmm.
that, and that is so easy, but it's just like when it comes to people, I feel like we have definitely been taught and brought up in a society that definitely the agenda is to definitely push superficial outside external factors, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's kind of like the normal, and I'm kind of tired of it, just seeing it, and just having to experience it, consistently.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but yeah, oh my god, like, yeah, he was like and it's like, yeah, he's cute. Of course, he was cute, but oh my god, his energies, I was like, "Woo, that's a man." Like that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah. That's some good
that
shit.
I'm yes. So that's something that um I learn a lot every year from my higher self and my higher powers. I do a lot of self-reflection all that good stuff, Also, to thanks mental illness, because it's kind of like a lot of us are eventually kind of forced to
Yeah.
self-reflection,
Oh yeah.
and I'm autistic, so I just think
hmm
differently. Um,
Going off the spirituality part of it, of just like feeling those
yes.
energies, I feel like I don't know,
Sorry,
just sharing.
start that over again. On my end, it cut out. It's
Going
not
off
your end.
like the spiritual energy stuff,
There's, yeah,
my experience with that has been pretty interesting. Like even if so, for example, like what you felt with this person at the coffee shop, like now after like experiencing that with my previous partners and like dating them and like figuring out why that feeling came out of nowhere, a lot of the times I feel like those people are just meant to be in your life and
yes,
gonna teach you something, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. Like I feel like they were meant to like give you that little spark for some reason, maybe open your eyes, and maybe
yes,
for that it was just like you said, it opened your
yes. It
horizons to a
awakened.
different, yeah.
Exactly. And folks, when what me and Ash are talking about, we're not talking about, oh, that butterfly crush feeling. We're
Mm-mm.
we're talking about that spiritual energy, vibration, aura touch. We're talking about that is different than and it's kind of like you have to experience it in order to fully understand what
hmm
me and Ash are talking about.
Yes, dude.
Um,
Like one that I can like just share really quick was like me going
yeah.
into one of my jobs, like walking into one of my jobs, and I could see the top of someone's head behind like a rack of, let's say, uniforms. And that's all I saw. Just the top of someone's head. Got that little weird feeling. And I'm just like, oh, okay, gotta go. I don't know what that's about, but I'm scared.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
later on, 4-year relationship, most traumatizing thing ever. But
Right,
it
right,
got me here. It got me here.
right,
I wouldn't
right.
be in Washington if I didn't like get that experience, and
Yeah,
I'm grateful.
yeah. That,
hmm
earlier you said it perfectly because that is a thing coming from someone who has died, and I do know a lot about our soul contracts before we come to this earth, yada yada yada. Um, there are those, who do come in to teach us, and it looks differently. Um, on the other side, they are one of our greatest teachers, and they are um, one of our greatest allies,
hmm
um, because they knew we wanted to learn something, whatever that was, and they were like, "Okay, I'll help you learn that." Um, it still doesn't feel good. It still doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Um, but like you said, though, to teach you something. Whether it's to just I how about this? I noticed for me, how about this? There are some things that just would fall apart in my life, but it would pressure me to move or to do something. Like I would not have moved, to Austin, Texas if I was not pressured by horrible stuff happening at home, you
Yeah.
know? So it's
hmm
kind of like the universe was like, your your next journey or part of your journey that requires a destination, and you were to move there. However, for me personally, I wouldn't have moved if it wasn't for pressure, aka pain,
Yeah.
you know. Like if things were all great, I would have stayed. I would have stayed. Can you relate?
Yeah. I was about to ask you, would you say, because I think the universe is funny with this kind of stuff. It's like it'll send
Yes.
you like little signs here and there.
Yes.
But then if you're not listening, it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to hit you harder than
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That's literally exactly how it does work. So I'm And it's funny that you mentioned that because these past few weeks after my attempt, which I'll be talking about in another episode, folks, um, I've really been learning. Well, I wouldn't say learning, but I really been taking signs more seriously because I would oftentimes ignore signs a lot, and then the universe would just have to push me.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say all the time I ignored signs, but like 98% of the times it would take, you know, it it didn't have to get that bad. How
Hmm.
about that?
Yeah.
But because I ignored the signs, I had to go through hurt, and so and if I just listened to the signs, if I just trusted myself and just trusted the signs and listened, I would have saved myself a lot of hurt. However, how our soul contract works, um, and how the universe also works just with us. It's one of our greatest allies is, you know, we're not just gonna go through that pain in vain. Like the
Yeah.
higher self or our human self is going to learn something. If
Hmm.
you've ever had a circumstance and you're just like, I don't know why that happened. Like I didn't learn anything from that. Our higher self learned something from that. That it can't tell our human self that for a reason. So it
Gotcha.
literally that's yes, but as a human, that doesn't mean we can't complain and say why. What was the point of that? Oh no,
Yeah.
we're absolutely valid to say
It's,
that,
yeah,
and we
absolutely.
exactly. We better say it. We better be honest with ourselves and vent our frustrations. But yeah, but recently I've really been learning to, and I have been doing pretty good at it. Obviously, it took a lot of pain, but I've been doing pretty good at listening to these signs, you know,
I'm glad.
like, and I'm really proud of myself because it took years
Yeah.
to do this. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so
I feel
I
like,
don't, yeah,
sorry.
no,
It's,
go ahead. I'm
I
done.
think it's always like people say like it took me forever, but like our generation is fucking learning this shit hella young. And I am so
Yes.
proud of them because our parents, well, mine are like what, 40s, 50s. They're just now like going through it and it's like
Mhm.
I'm glad they are, but I'm glad I'm not in that position where it's like
Right.
I I can suffer right now and there's not like such intense consequences because of like where I am at like in life or whatever. Like I am able to make mistakes, able to fuck up, able to move as many times as I want and it's not gonna like completely like ruin everything, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
So like give yourself credit. You're doing great.
Yes, you know what? Something that you said was extremely, extremely wise. We're gonna get into it. Is when you mentioned you can suffer now and not have to reap the extreme consequences of not allowing yourself to, or not being honest with yourself in this moment. For example, like just sweeping depression under the rug, not
Yep.
acknowledging that, um, many folks don't know, but the human body is meant to feel in order to heal.
Mhm.
Um, Pushing it under the rug or just stop crying about it, that literally damages the body, literally, and
Yeah.
many, many, many people, um, it they think they swept it under the rug and that it's over it. I'm like, okay, wait until 40 years
Just
from now,
yep.
out of
Give it a
nowhere,
minute. Mhm.
exactly, you're gonna hit boom, rock bottom. And something that, is really important to notice is this is a really scary statistic. But this statistic that I'm about to say is tied with stigma, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Um, um, those, this is statistically speaking, um, women or female born make up the majority in this country. There are more female born um, and or women in this country than there are men. And by this country, folks, we mean the U.S. because we know this podcast is heard in over 35 countries. Thanks for the support, y'all. Um, but in America, women, there's more women than men, statistically speaking. However, men make up the majority of suicide rates. They make up on average 75 to 70, excuse me, 75 to 76% of the suicide in America, folks. Um, so that's between 72 to 80%. Okay. And it is projected in the next 5 to 10 years to hit on average 80 to 82% of the suicides in America. This is the thing. It is unfortunately, you know, this is what I'm speaking, this is qualitative research, what I'm about to say, which is not the numbers. Um, um, a lot of it, majority of it is tied to stigma. Unfortunately, men, being told don't cry or pushing it under the rug or emotions, that's for girls. And I'm just like, um, women are stronger if because I was just like, I mean, they're actually not denying their humanity,
Yeah.
and speaking from someone who has died by suicide before, I can tell folks that those who feel emotions, they are closer to the spiritual realm than those who choose to ignore their emotions. That's literally a thing. You will know it when you die, when you're on the other side and your your consciousness is expanded and you're finally the most smartest thing in the universe. You'll be able to see folks that um the more yeah, I can whatever, I already explained it. But the thing about it is before anyone is um forced into a gender because sex and gender are different. Gender is man-made. So when folks say there are only two genders, that's not true. Look up the definition of gender, folks. That is a man-made thing, and there's not two sexes. There's a third. There are people that are born with both. Just fun fact to throw that out there for people
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people have been manipulated by society and say there's only two genders. I was like, I will come with the research and the statistics. I was like, I promise you, the people that are telling you this information, they know they know the truthful information. They don't want to tell you that because there has to be a divide. They want a division. They want yeah, but anyways, let me stop getting off my high horse here. I know it's vulnerability time. I just know that I forget when I'm talking about something because I have ADHD and autism, so I jump from like A to Z quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's I already forgot what I was going to say, by the way, but it what you said was extremely very very wise.
Thank you.
Before anyone. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Before anyone is forced into having to identify with limiting genders. Yeah, it's just we are humans first. Humans have emotions. That is a thing. Humans have emotions. And when folks decide, because of society, when folks are told you can't be human because you're a man.
Like you
So
said,
be man,
it's
be man.
literally
Yeah.
it damages your body, it damages your
Yes.
brain, it damages the people around you because
Yes.
it's gonna come out one way or another,
Hmm.
but it's not gonna be in a positive way, most likely, or a healthy way.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly, because the human body, what it does is it tries to love us enough to purge out anything that doesn't um serve it.
Hmm.
However, it doesn't always know how to do that in the best ways, which is why treatment and intervention is needed, which is why honesty is needed, which is why, facing our emotions and acknowledging them is needed because our body, it's gonna purge out that trauma one way or another. And when folks talk about, oh, I've always pushed things under the rug, I'm fine, and I'm just like, okay, let's investigate where your drinking problem is coming from.
I was about to say, how's your wife doing? Like,
Right. How's your wife doing? You know, what's your anger response to
yeah.
things? Are you instantly aggressive and ready to fight someone on road rage? Are you instantly ready to kill someone? I was just like, you just
Mhm.
might not notice or aren't aware or just choose not to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, many things are a manifestation of our childhood development stages, unfortunately.
And this is not like to shame people. I just want to say that
Right.
like this
Yeah, no.
it's a process.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
me and you can relate with like our BPD because it can make us
Yes.
real ugly at
Yes.
times.
Borderline personality disorder, folks. That's what that means, just by the way.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, continue.
So it just brings out uh, that those trauma responses and the
Yes.
lack of development in like emotional intelligence and stuff like that. For various reasons, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's how we can put our 2 cents in that.
Yeah. Yeah, 1000%. And thank you, Ashley. I mean, excuse me, sorry. Thank you, Ash,
Yes.
for
Thank you.
for um creating the space of no shame. Sometimes when I get passionate about something, um, my biases can flare up towards men, and I
Yes.
can because if only I knew these statistics growing up, I would. I am I just wish I could just show all the men in my past who have, you know, physically abused me or emotionally, verbally abused me for being human, pretty much,
Yeah.
having emotion. If I could just show them these statistics, you know, back then. So what I do is that biases starts to flare up when I get really passionate
Mhm.
about this topic, because folks on this podcast know, or if you're just tuning in, fun fact, I grew up hating men. I was like, all men suck. Yes, I'm attracted to them. However, they all suck. They're all just aggressive being things like that. And so,
Yeah.
um, it, yeah. So thank you, Ash. There we go. Thank you, Ash, for helping humble me and hold me accountable and bring me back. Now that I'm reflecting on it, it did sound like I was starting to shame men. Um, Folks, I want to apologize. That is not what this podcast is about. And one of the best ways I can apologize is throwing myself under the bus. What? No, throwing myself under the Hummer limousine because we like to be bougie over here.
There you go.
Throwing myself under the Hummer limousine and being honest about and investigating where that trigger was coming from and how I am responsible for the actions now. Though it's not my fault necessarily, I'm still responsible for the actions because
Mhm.
that's not fair to the men who have not hurt me, you know? That's not fair. So that's where I become responsible for my actions when, it becomes collateral damage. So,
Mhm.
yes, thank you, Ash, and to all the um, males out there, I truly do apologize. I really do apologize for that. If this was 8 years ago, I would not apologize. Um, but I truly apologize. Thank you, Ash, for
That
opening
sounds gross.
our eyes. We love growth. We love acknowledging. Acknowledge is power. Acknowledge is
Period.
power. Okay,
Mhm.
like you said, we suffer from borderline personality disorder. Yeah, and unfortunately, it has its pros and cons, thankfully. Thankfully we do have pros because like the way we're able to like feel and love,
Yeah.
it stands out. Yeah, that's literally a
So
thing,
intense.
folks. Yeah, we can love, like we know how to love, however we also have our cons, in it and stuff like that. And yeah, I totally want to be more vulnerable and talk about it. However, I don't have any of the I usually carry like a note tab and it has like stuff about BPD on it to share with
Okay.
people.
Gotcha.
But but I am currently holding back and I'm currently experiencing selective vulnerability. There we go.
Okay. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Just be I get into the whole YouTube channel thing. Um, I want to talk about like my mental health experiences and like diagnosis and stuff like that, but it's like I also don't want to spread one misinformation, stigma, or talk out of my ass. I just exist and experience these things, and that's what
Right.
people are gonna get. But I get it, especially when it's like out there in the world. You don't want to contribute to the negative stuff.
Exactly, the stigma. You literally said it perfectly. You literally said it perfectly. Like seriously, like you took the words that I was literally trying to convey, but I didn't know how to verbalize it. The best I could do was say selective vulnerability. Yeah, I'm afraid of. We love being self-aware.
Mhm.
I'm afraid of um there being a stigma. I'm afraid of someone listening to this and them, being scared of me because of borderline personality disorder. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, so that's why I'm just like, healing is possible with us and we heal, we grow, you know what I mean? Um, I would say I have it very well managed now. It's
Mhm.
definitely not perfect, but compared to how it was 2 years ago, compared to how it was a year ago, I'm doing phenomenal compared to how it was a year or two ago. Um, Thankfully, I've kept a lot of the pros as I was healing. So it's like I
Mhm.
still do love
Yeah.
very well, because BPD folks, we know how to love.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, yeah, I'm struggling with. But you
I just
said it
want to say
best.
we strive for progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's totally. Would you? I've used the term remission, like my BPD is in remission.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
perfect. Let me write that down.
yeah,
Let me
because
write that down.
like it'll come back every once in a while, but most of the time it's still
Exactly.
there. Like I think technically, like if I were to go try to get diagnosed, like I wouldn't check everything, so technically I
Right.
wouldn't have it, but like
Oh,
it's
that's not
not.
how it works. Oh,
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
have to. Yeah, no, you don't have to check every box to be diagnosed with something.
Okay, but there's
Yeah,
like a
no,
minimum.
there can't. Yeah, at least. Okay, how about this? When I got diagnosed,
Hmm.
I don't know if there's a minimum, but when I'm sure there is, but I'm not sure. 'Cause that
Yeah.
when I got diagnosed twice. So I was like, I get it. I was like, I get it. Okay, but yeah, they read off a list, and I also did my own research, and I printed out my own research, and I brought it to the psychiatrist and my counselor. And
Okay.
I read it off, and I said, "These are what I identify with. These are me." And then they also read off their list as well. I didn't check off every box. I checked off a lot, but I didn't check off every box.
Yeah.
Um, Thankfully, but yeah, so you don't have to check off every box.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I think technically because the last therapist that I saw, they're like, I feel like we're good on that. We don't have to focus on like the BPD. Let's focus on like day-to-day life type thing.
Hmm.
So like, I guess that's how it shows up for me now. Um, but yeah, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. But I love what you said about remission. I, I
Mhm.
I'm gonna start using that statement in terms to describe what I am experiencing
Yeah.
in remission. I remember I messaged you a couple times,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Ash, my BPD is flaring up. Is trying to flare up on my best friend." I think I messaged you like 3 or 4
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
You know, um, I would say 3 out of the 4 times, yes, it was BPD. The fourth time, it was not, thankfully. Um, so I had to be able to discern that after thinking about it.
Hmm.
But have you ever felt, okay, this is me. Like, this is me right now. This is where I'm at right now. Have you ever felt that if you show all of you the good, the quote unquote bad, and the in between, um, do you feel like that person won't love you? Because that's my fear. And I know that's a lot of fear with folks with BPD is that we can't be loved because though we have our highs and we love, and there's a lot of great things about us, we do have our lows, and I'm scared that, the person will leave and I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, I feel like it's kind of one of the first things that I talk about if I'm gonna like be in a serious relationship or anything like that. Like I warn folks because even though
Mhm.
I am in like a better like spot, like I'm not the I have done shitty stuff in my past. I have been a shitty person in my past, and
Right.
I admit to that, and I don't.
Right. We've progress over perfection.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just,
And
yeah.
I guess part of that fear is of that person coming back or like anything like that. So I just warn people, and it's like, if I hurt you, I'm not doing it intentionally, but please, like, call me out. And
Hmm.
like, it's like a surrounding myself with people that I can trust that will not
Yes.
not see me as like a bad person just because I had a little slip up or anything like that. Like
Right.
I will totally respect that someone if it crosses a boundary and an explanation is not an excuse. So even yeah, she has BPD, but she hurt me this way and I can't handle it. That's
Mhm.
fair.
Oh, I'm writing that down. You
That's
have just
totally
been
fair.
coming with the wise words. Um, there's something I want to ask you about your YouTube channel towards the end.
Mhm.
Don't let me forget. If you let me
Okay.
forget, I will remember because I really do want to tell you. So I'm like, I'll remember either on the episode or right after the episode. I just knew it.
All right.
And explanation. Excuse. I'm writing this down. This is. Oh, give me 10 seconds, folks. I tried to copy and paste it and I accidentally deleted it. So now we gotta rewrite it. Um, okay, there we go. Explanation is not an excuse. Let me put Ash to quote you, give you the credit, just in case I say it in the future. Okay, yeah, okay, that is phenomenal. I don't know when to warn them? Like when do you wait until like 3 months into it, or do you wait until things start to get serious, or do you just say up front?
I feel kind of like up front. Um,
Like give me a time frame. Like let's say you're talking with someone, right? Like in the hopes of pursuing romantically or whatever. Like is it after date 2, date 3? Is where?
it's honestly probably date one, just because I'm the type. a person. Have you ever heard of that card game, We're Not Really Strangers?
No, I think I
So
have. I'm not
there's you've
sure.
probably seen an ad on Instagram or something where you like it's just like deep questions, level 1 to 3, and you're supposed to how they advertise it is you play it with a stranger in a park and you see we're not really strangers, we're human beings and we relate and blah blah blah.
Ooh,
So that's kind of like how I like to dig into
do
literally
you
any
play that game on a
relationship.
date? No, that's two. I heard that that is a good way to do a first date is to play a board game. They
I
used to
love
do that
it.
back in the. I'm writing it down right now, and I'm putting it in my Amazon cart literally right
Yes,
now.
do it.
Um,
They have like different like subs too. So like there's ones that are specifically for relationships, some for family, I think. It's great.
oh my gosh, I'm putting it literally. I have it on my cart
Yes.
right now because the next time I go on a date, because I've been wanting to. I just don't know when to be honest because it's like I am honest, but no, you know what? Continue what you were saying, and then I'll finish because
Um,
I know we forget.
I forget. It's a good way. I think yeah, I bring it up first date, usually either it's not like I've been in a lot of dates, but the past couple have been with the game, and I think it's just like one of the main things I talk about because I am obsessed with like mental health and psychology and stuff. So I it just comes up naturally in conversation. Like I don't think it's a problem if you like well no, that's me playing it safe. I don't think people should identify with their diagnosis. But
Yes, I've heard about that as
yes.
well.
Yes,
Mm.
but you should like see it as like I like turtles. I have BPD. Like it's one of those little things.
Right.
Like because yes, it's not my identity, but it does affect how I think. It does affect
Yes.
like certain relationships and stuff like that. So I feel like it's important information to know, especially like say I am autistic because I haven't been diagnosed, but I do suspect. I have to tell them I have like certain traits. So like if you say a joke and I take it seriously, like I don't like a sarcasm thing, so, and I take it like literally or anything like that. Like it's just how I process information, like stuff like that, you know? I don't know if that
Yes.
makes sense.
No, that makes tons of sense. Yeah. You've inspired me. I I mm, I've had mm, almost every guy be overwhelmed when I'm honest with them. And by that, what that looks like is me telling them, me getting to a point where I trust them enough. And I have BPD, so of course I trust easily. Um,
Yep.
um, by the
Blessing and a
way,
curse.
my right, blessing and a curse. By the way,
Mhm.
my BPD, it only is targeted towards men.
Okay.
Fun fact, just literally like I don't have any of the symptoms towards um female born any female born
AFABs, if you want to use that.
sorry, say that
Assign
again.
AFABs or AMABs, it's assigned female at birth, assigned male at birth.
Oh, there we go. Assigned female at you were just teaching me. You're teaching us all. Literally, you're teaching us all. This is your episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, those assigned female at birth, they have always been my comfort zone. I've not experienced trauma from them. It's only been men growing up. So, like, literally, only trauma came from men growing up. Like, and so my my BPD symptoms, it doesn't happen with any of my friends that are assigned female at birth. It doesn't.
Mhm.
It never. It only happens with males. And though it's a lot better now, like you said, it's kind of in remission. Mine's kind of in remission. Though it's a lot better now, you know, it's just always been males growing up. Like, for example, this is what I mean when I'm like really honest with the guys. When I eventually trust them, and this is romantically, like platonically, this doesn't make guys run. What I'm about to tell you, but
Okay.
romantically, it makes guys run. I tell them, I was like, and first, I make space for them to be open and honest with me. And so they tell me
Beforehand.
their stuff, and I show them, yes, exactly.
Mhm.
And I show them, I was like, that your experiences, that's not gonna run me away, you know? I tell them, I was like, I was raped when I was little. Like, or I was molested when I was little. Like, I tell them that,
Mhm.
they run. And it's like really overwhelming for them. And and there could be multiple reasons. I Two reasons that I really think is one, my honesty and vulnerability. It it makes them feel like they now have to face their own um traumas that they've ran away from.
Mhm.
It's kind of like I trigger their inner healing, and they're not ready to heal or it's too uncomfortable to heal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they have just to surface level, or it's just they just don't want to, and honestly, that's their right. Literally, they're not necessarily bad people for doing that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think I don't. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna start going back on dates, and I'm gonna try the card game. I'm gonna
I
try the card
recommend it
game.
definitely because you
It's a
can
good icebreaker.
decide. Yeah, icebreaker. You can decide how deep you want to go, and like you can go back and forth. So you both have to talk about something similar. So
Yeah,
definitely recommend that. Another thing that might be uh, a reason why they run because of men not being like
exactly.
allowed to just I feel like I just don't know what to do with that information.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Understandable because, society has taught them,
mhm.
oh, don't be human, just be what we tell you a man is. And that's not human,
Yeah. Yeah.
because yeah. Hmm. I, to be really vulnerable, I know I am worthy of love. I know I'm worth it. I love me. I, I fear because I have BPD that I cannot will not be loved. Like, I know I'm lovable, I love me, but do I think I'll ever get a husband? I have that fear that because I have BPD that I won't, it's not, yeah, like
You think it's a
that's,
you thing at the end of the day.
yes, because after encountering, guys running away consistently, and mind you, not all of them have, mo- just the majority
Right.
have. Um, as a survival mechanism, I begin to see the common denominator in
Mhm.
order to, that's kind of what those of us who experience trauma, we do. We recognize common denominators as kids so that we can avoid it. That's I know that's a common thing, and it's also survival mechanism just in general, as in the caveman days. But um, I recognize a common denominator, and that common denominator is guys who just see me but don't want to know me. And then the second common denominator is me. You know, I'm the one telling them this information. With the brightest smile on my face, I'm telling them this, Um, me being honest, me being vulnerable and giving them trust, you know, um, I'm a common denominator. You know what I mean? And so, what I've been doing is I've just been really enjoying my spiritual enlightenment, my spiritual awakening, listening to high vibrational music, doing a lot of self-reflection, therapy, just a lot of self-awareness thing, and what helps me with my self-awareness is my I'm being childish, but I am going to talk about it. Is my new book, folks.
Yes.
Yes, it's called Wounds into Wisdom: Self-Awareness Interactive Journal Notebook with Prompts. If you think you know yourself or if you want to learn yourself, this book slash journal notebook is for you. Folks, it has a lot of thought-provoking prompts. I promise you there's some prompts or all of the prompts that you've never thought about in here. These are all prompts that, I was told to while spending time with my higher self, my higher powers, Holy Spirit, even just and self reflection, therapy as well. Very thought provoking prompts, folks. It's very, very healing. Get you some healing and encouragement. Learn more about yourself and others because you are
Yes.
worthy of all the love and all the understanding and all the healing. Understand yourself. You're worth the healing that comes from understanding yourself. So go ahead and get it. Link in the episode description below and more info about it at the end of the episode with the pre-recorded ending. But yeah, that's my
Great.
whole thing, Ash. When it releases, I'm sending you a free copy, Ash. Um, yeah, but it's
What one thing real quick.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't think you'd want a person that would run away anyway.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
So
no, 1000%. Oh yeah, I don't. It just
so
hurts. It
yeah,
hurts, and
I guess
it's
you're right. Yes.
I see it a lot, and now I know. I'm like, if they're gonna run away, oh, I don't want them in general.
Mhm.
And I wish that my emotions would follow my wisdom.
You
I
still
wish
gotta
my
feel the feelings. Like
exactly. You still
it's a
have to
form
feel.
of
That's right.
grief, even if it was like just a date. Like it's still like a form of it. You still gotta lose, even especially us BPD. We create a whole
Yes,
story in our head with this one person. So let's
we do.
outing ourselves right there. You create a whole storyline. You're like, this is gonna happen. We're gonna have 3 kids. Whatever. I'm exaggerating, but
I did that with the guy at the coffee shop.
period. So you're gonna grieve that. You're gonna grieve that, even if
Yes,
it
of
was
course.
just like a thing in your head. Like it's valid.
Yeah. Um, are you an INFJ dash T personality?
I do not know.
It is very common for those of us who have a BPD, borderline personality disorder slash ERD disorder. Um, but same thing, just different names, but
Yeah.
same thing, same fun fact. Um, is very common for us to be INFJ-T personalities. We are the most loving, most rarest, most wise personality types. There's only 2% of us that exist in America. Literally, that's statistic two. We are the ones who stand out, who are the outcasts. We stand out in the crowd. We're the ones that folks can take wisdom from because we are substance. We have so much substance. You know, we either have been through a lot or we feel a lot. We're the type that um, has turned wounds into wisdom. It has not made us inherently, innately just bitter. And no shame to people who have become bitter because of trauma. That is a normal response. No
Yeah.
one to blame them. There's just something different about us INFJ-Ts. Um, we are definitely the lovers. We're definitely that. I can totally send you a link. It takes
Mhm.
like 5, maybe 10 minutes to do the test to see your personality type, and
Yeah.
it is so explanatory. Like I was learning a lot, and I was like, "Wow, I'm not crazy." For I was like, "Wow, like it literally because of that test, Ash, that triggered and kickstarted me finally loving myself and being so proud and grateful that I was always an outcast. It
I
made me
love that.
so proud to be.
Mm.
Yes, seriously, it is so much healing. Just like my book. Okay, I'm gonna dive into that last part. But yes, Ash. So I'm gonna totally send you the link.
Do
I
it.
had to take it last year for one of my classes that I was
Okay.
in as extra credit, and I mean, I'm so glad that the professor made us do it. I was like, I'm gonna marry him.
You saved my life.
That's my husband. Yes, literally. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send it to you and take your time. You don't have to do it when I send you the link. You don't even have to do it in general. I
I'll do
already
it.
think you're an INFJ-T.
I
It is,
relate to all of that. This tattoo actually represents literally all of that. It's the hangman, so it's a tarot card that
yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's this person put themselves on this tree, hung themselves by their foot on purpose to
Yeah.
learn and see a different perspective. And
Oh,
yeah,
wisdom.
yeah, and it's like voluntarily like taking hits if that's what's needed in order to learn. And
Mm,
that's just been my whole life. Like I every person I meet, every person I date or friends with, whatever, even talk to just for a few seconds, like I feel like for a reason I'm gaining something, losing something, but in order to gain something, like I always feel it's just everything happens for a reason, even if it's like
it
super
does.
dark and whatnot. Like,
Yes.
I don't know. I've gone through a lot of trauma and I just don't know who I would be without it, to be honest. I don't think I would
Yes.
like that person.
Right.
Um,
Oh, yes. Same. I'm
yeah,
glad someone else feels that way. Seriously.
yeah.
Seriously. If I didn't go through that trauma, I would be my father. I would be the one giving the trauma. I would be the one whose toxic masculinity, who would be so above the world. He's very arrogant, man. I wouldn't
Mm.
care about money more than humans. I would be a horrible human being if it wasn't for trauma. And you said it perfectly, Ash.
Mhm.
You said it perfectly. That is being someone who died and who's came back. I got to be on the other side and remember, oh, this is where we came from before we choose to come to Earth. Um, it is literally true. Everything happens for us. That is literally true. That is literally true. Even the smallest of things. We have strategically planned out our soul contract. And however, as a human being, it is understandable to be upset at it, and to
Yeah.
fuss at it, even have moments of doubt and stuff like that. It's totally understandable because, like, all of the things that's on our soul contract, it's for our higher self to spiritually advance. It's not necessarily just for our human self. It's more so for our higher self, our consciousness. Because once we leave this human meat suit, our
Mhm.
consciousness, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Um, Thankfully, and folks, that's why I took it the other day because I was trying to go back there. I was trying to go back to not Earth. But clearly, it wasn't my time to end on the soul contract. No one is able to leave before their time. They are able to leave after their time, but they're not allowed to leave before their time. So that's why you hear, oh, this person got in a car accident. They said that they totally should have died, but they didn't. They didn't. That's literally because it literally was not their time. Death cannot happen before a certain person's time. That's how it's set in the soul contract. I would like to go review my soul contract and just to be like, okay, this soul contract makes me want to leave a bad Yelp review on Earth. I need to speak to Earth's manager. I need to speak to Earth's manager, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have their bills affected. They're gonna be fired. That's what it sometimes now I'm doing a lot better. After the
Mhm.
attempt, I'm doing a lot better. I just needed answers and I got the answers.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I feel that.
gosh.
I'm honestly not doing super great right now just 'cause,
Oh, honesty.
dude, everything's like fine.
Say
Everything's
that again.
fine. I'm not doing well, but everything is fine. I'm working a job that I like. I'm doing school. I'm in a great relationship. I don't know. Like I have friends that support me and care about me. I will say I haven't been creative, and I think that's the answer that I came down to because I wasn't doing well, and at this point in my life, I know when I'm not doing well, it's just like something's lacking. And
Mm.
how my strategy is the hierarchy of needs. So take care of like your basic needs first. Yeah.
You are so wise. You have no idea. Oh,
I just
you
gotta
know
tell myself
you've
to do
reached
that.
self-actualization. I need you to know that. You know that, right? You know most humans don't reach that. You know what personality type is up there. You know what personality type's up there, right? No,
The two
seriously,
percent,
like
the two
it's
percenters.
really yeah, it's not just the two percenters, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's very common that we're up there. Yeah, no,
Hmm.
there's a lot of truth in the self-actualization. When humans die, we get what's called a life review, and everyone's looks different. Some people it flashes before their eyes. Oh, my life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah.
Um, or you just get to see your life played out, but within every life review, you get to feel everyone that you affected, all the huge and small moments of everyone that you affected. That means so
Mhm.
when so you will feel the bad, but you'll also feel the good. However, you will be feeling perfect as well. It's so weird to describe, but it's just like it's only for like a small bit. It's no shame. You're the only one judging you, and you're not even really judging you. That's not a such thing as God's gonna judge you. That's man made.
Mhm.
That's a lie. That's man made to manipulate people through fear. Um, God is not gonna judge you. It's going to be just you're gonna be so loved, so loved. And not everyone who dies and comes back gets to experience that necessarily because they're not supposed to, because it'll mess up um, whatever they came on this earth to do. It'll mess up their journey. So, for example, like if I knew what I know now, if I knew that back then, I wouldn't go through all that pain that helped teach me stuff. So I would have been dumb. I don't want to say dumb, but I wouldn't
I know what you mean.
be. This podcast would not have happened if I
Yeah.
knew now what I knew then. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that's what that means. So some people they get a different, but some people it's their time to be certain type of awakening. It's everyone's on their own journey. It's literally all about us, and it's all about others at the same time. Literally, that's those two things are. It's weird. There are certain things that logic cannot define, and humans' logic is limited. Also, I feel you when everything's fine but you're not doing great.
Hmm.
That is so wise.
I
That is
feel like,
so
yeah,
profound.
that's
Yeah.
um, that's when I realize my spirituality is usually the one that's lacking because I'm
Mm,
focusing on the human stuff, basically,
mm,
the
mm.
logistics of that, and then you forget about the other stuff. That's also important in order to feel fulfilled, um,
Yeah. One
especially when
thousand
you're
percent.
surviving like perfectionist or what's it called, recovering perfectionist.
Oh, us
Ah.
INFJs. It's very common with us.
Oh
Yes.
gosh.
That perfectionist. Oh my God. Yep. Uh, love that. Um, I know we're wrapping up, but I want to literally tell you, Ash. Thank you. You came on this podcast when it was needed, when it was time, when it was the right divine time. Thank you. Seriously. I don't even know how to thank you.
Thank you
You
for
really
having
inspired
me.
me. Yes.
Mm,
Thanks for coming.
of
We
course.
are so appreciative. Everyone, folks, say bye to Ash. Hopefully, we'll see Ash soon. Check out her
Absolutely.
YouTube channel in the episode
Yeah.
description below. Okay, yeah, we'll put it in the episode description below.
Let's do
Alrighty,
it.
bye, folks. Hello, everyone. Before we end the video, I would love to announce, and I am proud to announce that my second book is available now on Amazon. It is called Wounds into Wisdom: Self-Awareness Interactive Journal Notebook with Prompts. If you love learning about yourself, if you want to, go into more self-awareness, if you want to talk to your inner child, if you want to just talk to yourself and, you know, uh, find out new things, this journal notebook with prompts is for you. It is interactive. It has spaces where you can, doodle or draw anything that symbolizes, the prompt. Um, you are able to interact and conversate with these prompts in the journal notebook. And it also has space at the end for you to just journal if you would like to just journal. But yes, these prompts in the book are very wise and thought provoking. Um, it will make you think, I have never thought about that before. I did not recognize that in my life until now. These will blow your mind. These will drop your jaw in a good way. In a good way. But yes, the link to purchase the book is on Amazon. The link will be in the episode description below. Also, thank y'all so much for making it to the end of this episode. I challenge you to send this podcast to at least one person. You never know whose life you are going to save by sending this podcast, because they might send it to someone else who really needed to hear it, and that person's life will be saved. Because remember, the point of this podcast, um, in general, vulnerability time, is what if someone's on their way home to end their lives, but because they listened to a special guest or to me, because they listened, they decide to live, even if it's just a little bit longer. This is a life-saving podcast, folks. And yeah, thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all next time for whatever episode that will be, because this is a pre-recorded outro. Already love y'all tons. Stay amazing. I'm proud of you for still breathing on this earth.